Welcome to the ancient city of Shiloh. Here, the Mishkan once stood in the days of the Shoftim for 369 years, and I came here to talk a little bit about the holiday of Tu B'Av, which is closely associated with the period of the Shoftim and the city of Shiloh. So we'll start the story with a woman named Hannah. Now, Hannah's story is told in Sefer Shemuel. She was married to Elkanah, but she was barren. She couldn't have any kids. So year after year, it says, Miyamim Yamima, she would come up with her husband to the Mishkan, Shiloh, to pray. And it happened one year that she was sitting outside the Mishkan, and this is the estimated place where the Mishkan once stood, outside the city of Shiloh. So Eli, the Kohen Gadol, saw her praying, and he thought that she was drunk. So what's going on? Why do you think that she's drunk? So in order to better understand what's going on here, we'll turn back one page to the end of Sefer Shoftim, and there we read about how in Shiloh, every year, Miyamim Yamima, the daughters of Shiloh would come out to dance in the vineyards. And we know that when there's a vineyard, good chance that there is wine available, and when there's dancing, there's often drinking. So perhaps this holiday, which our rabbis tell us was on Tu B'Av, over time it degenerated and some people took it too far, and it led to drinking. And that's why Eli Kohen, when he saw Hannah, he was concerned that she was drunk. But of course, Hannah was not drunk. She was just praying. She was spilling out her heart to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, praying for a child, because she connected and was aware of the essence of the holiday of Tu B'Av. It's not just about dancing and finding a partner, about romance, about marriage, love. She knew that the whole point of all of that is that man and woman come together to create a family, to have children. And that takes us back to the story a few pages earlier in Sefer Shoftim of Bat Yiftach, the daughter of Yiftach. She was Yiftach's only child, and she never got married, never had kids, because her father Yiftach had made a vow when he would return victorious from battle, that the first thing that came out of his house to greet him, he would sacrifice, and tragically the first thing was his daughter. And it says at the end of that story that every year, Miyamim Yamima, the daughters of Israel would go and cry for the daughter of Yiftach, because she never had the chance to get married, she never had kids because of her father's vow. Hannah knew that that was the origin of the day of Tu B'Av. It's not just a day of celebration, it also has a solemn side to it, a day of crying, a day of prayer, and it's not just about marriage, it's also about kids, it's about family, and that explains why she connected with the day. Now that we've seen these three different stories and how they're all connected, they happen on Tu B'Av, Miyamim Yamima, I think we could better understand a unique Syrian custom that we have around the time of Tu B'Av, which is Hatarat Nedarim. It's always around this time. And that is because all of these stories include a neder, a vow of some sort. It starts with Yiftach, who vows to sacrifice the first thing that comes out of his house. Tragically, it's his daughter, and that was his only child, so there's no more continuation of the family. Later, the end of Sefer Shoftim, it's the story of how all the tribes of Israel declared war on the tribe of Binyamin. They made an oath not to let anyone give their daughter to a man from Binyamin to marry, and then when they regret it, they use Tu B'Av and the young women dancing in the vineyards as a loophole. They say, let the men of Binyamin each steal a wife for themselves, so that we're not violating our oath, our vow. We see therefore the tragic consequence of vows, and around this time of year, we remember and we do Hatarat Nedarim. But in the last story, we see that there's a tikkun, because Hannah also makes a vow, but she makes an appropriate vow. She says, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, if you will grant me a child, then I will offer him to you, but not as a sacrifice, chas v'shalom. Rather that my child will be given to the Mishkan to work in the Mishkan and serve Hashem. And that's exactly what happens when she's blessed with a son named Shemuel Hanavi. Thanks so much for watching, and Chag Sameach.